Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Oh my goodness, we are live. It is a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by Jason Aponte. And Jason, these episodes feel a little nicer because it's a good win. It's a good 49ers win. And that's where I guess we'll start. I don't know. Where do you want to start? You know what? I'm wrong. Jason, how are you? That's how we should start. How are you doing on this lovely Monday evening?
Just hanging out, watching Big Ben's last start in Pittsburgh, and yeah.
Oh no.
Why?
Oh no, I'm not a big Ben guy.
Oh, I mean, I'm not a big Ben guy, but it is his last game.
Hey,
that's true. You know, I wasn't a big Brett Favre guy, but when he played his last game, I watched it. He's still, no matter personal feelings about the guy.
That's fair.
He's an accomplished NFL guy. Also, fantasy titles hang in the balance. Bets are on the line here as well too.
That's what I was thinking, because the Browns and Steelers are both eliminated from the playoffs. No, but like this game means nothing, but it means a lot.
The Steelers are not eliminated.
Oh, the Steelers aren't. I thought the Steelers weren't or were. I'm an NFC guy. I don't care what goes on. The only time I care about what's going on in the AFC is when the Niners are going to the Super Bowl and we got to figure out who they're playing. That's all. No, I'm joking. I did not know. I thought the Browns and Steelers were both eliminated, but I believe the Browns are.
The Browns
were eliminated yesterday. They're not. I thought they were.
Oh, I don't know. Who cares? They're not making the playoffs anyway. This is not a Browns podcast. This is not a Steelers podcast. This is not a fantasy football podcast. This is a San Francisco 49ers podcast. So, Andrew, yeah, man, good win. Good win.
Fantastic win. I mean, it's a win that you're happy the Niners get. I know it's against the Texans. There's a lot of layers of this game. This game was like an ogre. There's a lot of layers to it. Direct reference for the kids at home. Before we dive into the conversation too much, if you're here and you're new, or even if you're old and you haven't done it yet, make sure you subscribe to this wonderful, wonderful YouTube channel, Jason Aponte YouTube channel. Also notifications on. Like this video, dislike it. We don't care. We just want you to partake in the conversation. This is usually, Jason, where I ask, where do you want to start? And I think there is a very obvious place to start this game. It is the quarterback position. Shocker, shocker. I thought he was fine. I thought Trey Lance was fine. I think he improved pretty heavily in the second half, and these are just base thoughts. We'll dive into it here in a second. So, Jason, I guess I'll let you start the Trey Lance, how you felt, what you think. And I mean, I guess it's kind of important now to talk about the future of Trey Lance, because Niners are in a situation where they don't need to win. Other things can happen with a loss. But you really want to win this game on Sunday, and the conversation is going to be a little heavier. So what do you think? What did you think yesterday? That's where we're going to start this conversation.
First half, I think both Trey Lance and Kyle Shanahan were trying to get their footing in terms of play calling and how it looked like a guy who was starting his second start.
Yes.
And that's something that I implored people to keep in mind. For as shaky as it looked in the first half, the second half was so much different and literally on the opposite end of the spectrum, which gives you hope, and you saw the flashes. Again, what I continue to like about Trey Lance in the time that I saw him in camp and preseason, anytime that things have gone wrong, is he never puts down his head. And this was the perfect opponent to have this sort of start and then have this sort of finish. Soft landing for the kid. But he performed admirably, especially in the second half. And when you look at the way things were going, it's very easy for someone to say, oh, man, I don't have it today. Or, oh, man, I'm done here today. But he bounced back. He's tough. Yeah. He's resilient. He's poised. That's what I saw in the second half. And it also helps when Elijah Mitchell's back and he's back running that thing the way that he was. But super impressed by Trey Lance, because, again, as shaky as it was in the first half, complete opposite on the other side. And that was something that no matter what happens with Trey, He never puts his head down, and he never gets too down. Maybe he'll throw a pass that's intercepted. He's not going to let it beat him. Maybe he
Mhm.
throws a pass that he misses a read. He's not going to let it beat him. And this was the perfect team for him to work those kinks out early on and then finish out as strong as he did. So, again, some good, some bad, but you got the glimpses. And I think that's
Mhm.
all 49er fans really wanted and should have been looking for was the glimpses. And you got them. And that's the future.
Yeah, and Jason, you made all the points that I was going to talk about, but you kind of you took them as positives, and I think there's a lot of positives to take yesterday. I think the slow start's concerning to me. And I don't know what's made it or what's so concerning to me because I know we could easily have we could have an hour conversation, Jason, about what it's like to start your second game as a rookie 10 or 11 weeks after your first career start and not getting playing time in between. Um, and I know that probably is a lot is what chalked up to the slow start for both Lance and Shanahan because Shanahan was calling the game as if he had a more mobile Jimmy Garoppolo in the first half, right? It was very simple, nothing too deep, nothing too crazy. And I think something that to me, the reason the slow start concerns me, and I know there's a lot of reasons for it, is this isn't a week one game. And that makes sense, right? This is week 6, this is week 17, Jason. We're about ready to talk about a week 18 for the first time ever. Um, But if you talk about it's the perfect team for him to start slow against, it very much is. But if he starts next week against the Rams and he has that same slow start, the Niners probably aren't winning. If he has that slow start in the playoffs against, let's say, the Rams, because that's what it's lining up to, they're probably not winning. And the second half was phenomenal. And to me, off of that start, it's hard to go back to Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think the slow start is very concerning. I mean the one play we need to look at is the touchdown. The touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel. Is Jimmy Garoppolo getting that ball there like that?
No, not on a rope
No,
like that.
exactly. No, that's the thing, and that's the thing. I think Rich mentioned it, and people who were sharing the TV view of the play is how often do you see a 40-yard ball like that not leave the screen? That thing's on a rope. And if that's a Trey Lance we can get for next week, the playoffs, hopefully for the next 20 years, we're feeling great. We're feeling amazing. Slow start is concerning, but I don't want to put too much into it because it's his first start in 11 weeks after not playing. Now, do I think Trey Lance should be the starter the rest of the way over Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't get paid enough to have that answer. From what I saw, I think so, but I've also been in the camp of he probably should have been starting earlier.
Here's the thing, Andrew, and I think this is where we're gonna, I guess, have opposing views. Um, I understand everybody wants to make the playoffs, but I was much more interested in evaluating Trey Lance than I was winning the game and looking forward. And I don't want that to come off negatively because it was
I don't
his
take it
second.
negatively now.
Yeah, I mean you don't, but someone will. What I mean by that is second start in a must-win situation. But if
Mhm.
the 49ers lost and Trey Lance looked great, I'm fine. You know
Yeah.
why? Because Trey Lance is going to be here next year. And all I
Mhm.
care about is how he looks. And for as shaky as it was, it looked great in the second half, and they won.
Mhm.
Now, in week 18, let's just say that Trey Lance is the starter. We don't know what the hell's going on, and I'm not here to speculate because I don't want to talk
No.
about that. We have a whole week to talk about that. Let's just say the 49ers lose, but Trey Lance looks great and the 49ers don't make the playoffs. I don't care. You know why?
Yeah.
Trey Lance looks good and he's
Yeah.
trending in the right direction. I get it, guys. You want to make the playoffs. I do too. A small part of me does. I know what's more important, though. I know what's more important. Getting this guy and seeing him and seeing the glimpses.
Mhm.
So for me, the result is cool, happy, but I wanted to see Trey Lance. I wanted to see the growth. I wanted to see more. And I saw it in the second half.
Yes.
So happy with the result. But if you're thinking about, oh man, what is he going to do down the line? Probably not the way to be thinking about it, in my opinion, because it should be when he's done playing whatever game that is. How do you feel about him going into next year?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and I agree to you. I agree that part of yesterday, to me at least, and we're gonna disagree on that, Jason. That's okay. We're allowed to have different opinions on this, right? Is part of yesterday, yes, was seeing what Trey Lance was. But for me, I'm definitely one of those people where it's like, hey man, they need to get in the playoffs because they're in a prime, they were in a prime position to make the playoffs before the Tennessee game. Right. And they lose that. Now things are a little fuzzy. They got to win on Sunday. If they don't, they're going to need some help. And so, yeah, I want to take that. And if we're just looking at what Trey Lance was in a vacuum, yeah, he was fantastic. He started off slow. He looked so good. Like, I cannot stress how good he looked in the second half. He was a complete 180. Things were coming off the hand, how you were expecting to see. He was that we haven't seen a throw like that to Debo Samuel since number 7 was the Niners quarterback. And that doesn't feel like a long time ago, Jason. But when you're talking about a franchise that since Colin Kaepernick has left, we have had Colt McCoy, Brian Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, all the familiar subject, all the names we're used to. Trey Lance, he improved. We saw the potential in him. We saw the potential in there. And the big thing I noticed, man, is Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't move well in the pocket. We know that. We've said that. Trey Lance moves so well. And we knew that. We knew Trey Lance was better moving than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not a knock on either. But if we're looking at just what Trey Lance was, I am very excited for 2022 and beyond. But part of yesterday as well, though, is they needed to win and they got to win. And Trey Lance was a big part of it. The defense was a big part of it as well. So I don't want to lose the sight of how important that win was. But yes, Jason, you are absolutely spot on. Yesterday is a win that, yes, it is the Houston Texans. I get it. They're 4-12. They're not good. But at the same time, we came out of that feeling good, not just because of the win, but because what we saw in Trey Lance. And that was head and shoulders better than what we saw in week 5.
Yeah, and for me, everybody loves that Debo throw, and yeah, that's special. My favorite throw of the game was the design throw to George Kittle that Trey Lance bypassed and hit Trent Sherfield, flipped his hips, and hit him at the sticks. Look, nothing wrong with Jimmy Garoppolo hitting George Kittle there because that's the way the play is designed. But 99.99999% of the time, that would have went to Kittle for a 2-yard gain, and you live to play another down, as opposed to Trey Lance showing that moxie and seeing that, and then going and then hitting Sherfield with that twisting of the hips, and that one made me jump out of my seat. I know everybody loves the 40-yard passes. I get it. That shows me more. That shows me what you're missing. That shows me what he brings. And that's the one that I got excited about. I know it's not as cool as a 40-yard bomb touchdown to Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
But it was that one that I was just like, there it is. That's what we're talking about right there.
Great Fox, thank you for
donation, buddy.
Thank you for the donation. Futures bright, my fellow faithfuls. Give me Tom Brady in the wild card round. Yes, I'm calling his name. Hey, man, be careful what you ask for. Let's get there. Let's get to the playoffs first. We'll talk about opponents. Yeah, it's almost like that interception because that was not good, right? That wasn't a good interception. It's almost like he decided after that he's not just going to sit as because the issue with that interception is he kept his eyes on Kittle, right? He just kind of looked at Kittle, wasn't a good throw. I know he had, who was it? Ayuk and Debo open on the other side. Whatever. It's almost like he decided after that point, like, we're not just going to settle for the first read, the one read. And yeah, there was small improvements. I haven't had a chance to watch the tape yet. I'm excited. I looked at Rich Madrid's thread. If you guys want a great like play-by-play thing of what Trey Lance did on all his throws yesterday, go to Rich Madrid's Twitter. He did an all 22 of all his throws. All of it's there. But
that thread called me a bozo.
I knew the second I saw you retweet, I'm like, oh, I know what this joke's gonna be. I love it. I love that. I got exactly what I was expecting. But yeah, just overall it's a good winning or a good feeling win for the 49ers, not just because of them winning and beating the Texans and helping their playoff position, but Trey Lance showed, if we're going off the scale of improving each game, Trey Lance improved from week 5. And I don't even think that's an open conversation. That's an open shut thing. Trey Lance was better than he was in week 5.
And again, as shaky as he was in the first half, to be able to turn that around, that's a credit to Kyle Shanahan and him. And I think they're both starting to feel it, right? Like, I think they're both starting to say, oh, okay, here's what we got. This is what it is.
And I want to avoid the thing that everybody else is posting on Twitter because I like my own thoughts. But if you look at that next gen stats throw chart, and compare it to literally any Garoppolo game this season, you'll notice a difference. There's a difference there. And for those of you who don't know, who haven't seen those, a lot of Garoppolo's charts are the ball is in the center of the field. Lance, they used the sidelines a lot more yesterday, and it gets me all tingly inside. Let's just be honest. Like the thought of Trey Lance developing into what we hope he is, for the Niners giving up 2 first-round picks to get him. You feel good. You feel a little good about it, especially with the win. But just seeing Trey Lance, you feel good. Do you have any other Trey Lance thoughts? Because we're 20 minutes in on him. Do you want to go somewhere else now? Because I think there's a lot of other things. But we could also spend an hour on Trey Lance because I think that's how important of a game it was for him yesterday.
It was just encouraging. You're ready to go through the ups and downs. You were ready to go through the bumps and bruises, but you got the glimpses. I don't think that's exactly what you should have been looking for. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that want to say, well, you're not judging him as fairly as Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Garoppolo's been in the league 8 years. This is Trey Lance's second start. Mm-hmm. And I don't see why that's a conversation. Exciting. Yeah, I don't see why that's a conversation. I really don't. But you got your glimpses. You got what you wanted. You got exactly what you wanted. You got everything that you wanted. Mm-hmm. You got to watch him bounce back from adversity. You got to watch and you get your glimpses, and the 49ers won. I don't know what else you could have expected from him going on. So, George, thank you for the donation, buddy. Jason, this is why I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo, because this quarterback here excites me. Jimmy G does not excite me. No explosive plays. Yeah, I mean, that's again, fair. I think that a lot of the discussion around 49er fans is, okay, let's see what the unknown is, because for many seasons, we know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. Mm-hmm. We know. And it shouldn't have taken you 2020, 2021 to figure out who he is. You knew who he was in 2019. Mm-hmm. You knew who he was the year after. So I think it was time. And, you never want to wish injury, but This is just how it happened. Jesse, Advanced Analytics checking in. My Advanced Analytics shows that points were scored. Yep, the 49ers did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they scored more points than the Texans.
What's our 9-0 on the season when they score more points than their opponent? Just Jesse, I already did the research, Jesse. We got that.
Right. Take that, PFF.
So yeah, we're feeling good. And I see a lot of people talking about whether or not they should start Garoppolo on Sunday. That's probably going to be a conversation we're going to have on Friday, because Kyle Shanahan sure as hell isn't announcing his starter until Saturday, no matter what. So we'll be able to have that whole conversation. So Jason, I'm gonna tell you this, moving to another offensive rookie. I didn't look at the stats after the game. I've been house sitting, dealing with things. And I finally, before the podcast, looked at the numbers, looked at the players' numbers. Elijah Mitchell had the quietest 119 yard game I've ever seen. I didn't realize he had 119 yards.
I did.
I did not. I knew he was having a pretty good game. And maybe just part of it was me looking at Trey Lance as much as because we watched that game because Trey Lance. But we watched the game because we're Niner fans. But Trey Lance was the big story. Elijah Mitchell's good, and I think that's been known. And he was the workhorse yesterday. And as a matter of fact, I don't remember. Jeff Wilson was active yesterday, correct?
Jeff Wilson didn't get a carry.
Jeff Wilson didn't get, because did I miss that? Was Jeff Wilson inactive?
He
So
played.
Jeff Wilson didn't even get a carry. So
He played. He played. He was in. And I saw him in motion, but he didn't get a carry. And George, thank you for the donation. I don't care if we lose to the Rams because next year with Trey Lance in this offense, I could see as being very explosive. It all depends on Kyle. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and yes, Fernando. Jason Aponte takes Javonte Williams over Elijah Mitchell every single day and twice on Sunday.
And that's not a knock on Elijah Mitchell. It's not a knock. It's just Javonte Williams is better. That's okay. But yeah, I guess I really didn't have a point with Elijah Mitchell. He just had a very good game, and I didn't notice it, which I think to me shows you how good he is. Because if he's having 21 carries, 119 yards, and I'm not like freaking out about it, it's shown how consistent he is and how quietly good he's been for the Niners this year. And I think the good thing with Lance, is we talk about. Eddie, thank you for the donation. Ironic Trey has to come in and save the season. We talk about Elijah Mitchell not being able to be a workhorse, like that's not his design. And Trey Lance gives you another person to kind of take the load off of him. So I think, as I said, I don't know where this conversation is going. And Jason, you could pick up whoever you want to talk about next. I just wanted to mention Elijah Mitchell before we dove in too deep.
No, and I wanted to heap some praise on Elijah Mitchell because he's been sensational this season. The reason that I can tell you that he's not built to be a workhorse, he's been injured 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
He's not built to do this. But he is, when he's playing well and Shanahan goes with the hot hand, go with it. And here's the stat. Elijah Mitchell has seen 8+ defenders in the box on 41.4% of his carries. That is 3rd in the NFL. And has 117 rush yards over expectation per Next Gen Stats. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. Yeah. And he's having a sensational year. And I don't think that should be lost. And this offense takes a different identity when he's on there. And the dog agrees. You know, the dog agrees. Elijah Mitchell's balling. But yes, I think that he deserves a lot of credit. The only reason that he's not built to be a workhorse is he's been injured 3 times. He's had a few injuries. And that's just, the nature of the business. There's not many guys that are workhorses, right? Nick Chubb has Kareem Hunt. Again, it's just not something that's common practice. That's it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's it. Like more than anything, just because I think that Javonte Williams is better, he has the same amount of broken tackles as the best running back in the world, Jonathan Taylor, with 100 less carries or 150 less carries than the man. I get it, but Elijah Mitchell's really good. And there's no slight in that. That's it. Yeah. Like I'm not downplaying Elijah Mitchell, but the problem is that when you have an opinion against somebody who is on this team, it's a problem. Like Javonte Williams could have easily been a 49er, by the way. But the 49ers chose to let Denver jump them so they could trade up and get Trey Sermon. So now, again, I'm off of Terry McLaurin and Jalen Hurd. I'm on the fact that you let Javonte Williams slide.
Yeah.
And you took Trey Sermon. If Javonte Williams and Elijah Mitchell are your 2 backs right now, you have the best 1-2 punch in the league.
Yeah. And back to your 8 men in the box stat, or 7 men in the box. Not to bring it back to Trey Lance, but if the trend continues to where those next gen stat pass charts are a little wider than what we're used to, those holes are just going to open up more. So like there's layers to the Trey Lance thing that we don't need to get into. An off-season conversation. I see people talking about the cornerbacks, and I guess that's something we could talk about because it was.
Let's stick with rookies.
Ambry Thomas he's improving. And that's all you could ask for.
That's all you can ask for, and he is improving. He was this close. Again, not my opinion. Said it on the post-game show, but this person who's way smarter than I am has said it over and over. He's 1 or 2 plays away from his confidence shooting through the roof and changing his trajectory. Ambry Thomas gets that interception. He brings it back to the house.
That's a walk-in. That is a walk-in.
Yeah. Just a different player. He's improved every week. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Stop the presses. Breaking news. Reps help players get better. Mm-hmm. Rookies especially. Whoa. Man, imagine that. But yes, you do have to heap praise on a young man. We saw Josh Norman get benched in this game.
That's the
Now
other side I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
right now we know what's going on. Look, we'll touch on what's happening with the team. Obviously, this is right now what happened in this game. We understand what happened with COVID. We know who's on there. Who the hell knows at this point? On Monday at 8:55 Eastern time, I'm choosing to chill out.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot that can change.
right.
The guys who went on today doesn't mean they're going to be on Thursday. So we'll see.
Or the fact that maybe somebody else goes positive. Knock on wood. I hope that's not true.
Yes.
But next week's game better be Emmanuel Mosley and Ambry Thomas.
Yes. Oh my goodness. If the Niners lose next week because of a play Josh Norman is in over Ambry Thomas, I don't even think I can get awkward about Spicy Aponte. Like that's just a fact. Like, because if I think it's at a point where Ambry Thomas has passed Josh Norman, and I think that showed yesterday. I think that showed yesterday. Josh Norman was and I'm not saying Ambry Thomas had a perfect game. I remember a couple completions he allowed. That's okay. He's a rookie. But I mean, 3 weeks ago when we were ripping on him, is he even in position to make that pick six? Like things like that. And there's things that he is improving. I really think the Tennessee game, and I know he got mossed a couple times. It happens. Or no, that was the Atlanta game. The Tennessee game, he did not get mossed, but he gave up a couple of completions
by AJ Brown.
Because AJ Brown's good, but there was way more positive than negative in the Tennessee game, and he continued that trend yesterday. And like I saw, man, the shit that pisses me off is like I saw people complaining that he dropped that interception, and it's like
that's why he's a cornerback.
First of all, that's why he's a cornerback, but 2 weeks ago, he wasn't even making that play. So, like, baby steps. And, yeah, Ambry Thomas has improved to a point where I think when Emmanuel Emmanuel Mosley gets back, Ambry needs to start over Josh Norman. And I say that's what it is a lot. I don't know why, but that's just what it is, right? He's got to play over Josh Norman. Josh Norman, you were a 49er. Congratulations. You did it. But he shouldn't be on the field anymore. And even Dante Johnson, like he came in, he was fine. I know he got called for a PI when he came in. But even then he was fine. So I feel like it's so good that we're talking about the rookies like this, right? Is it not? Yeah. Because we spent so many weeks this season talking about the rookies, and now we're talking about. Look how good. Look, we've talked about 3 players at length this game, Jason, and all 3 have been rookies.
Yeah, and you know what else? Ambry Thomas's every game gotten better. Every game has been his best game. The next game. Happy for the kid, man, because we were ripping on him, and I was too. But look at what reps do for you, man, and look at what a few plays in terms of confidence can do for you. Swift Dog 49er at Jason, love your Kyle impression. This is something that came up last night on the post game show. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, Andrew.
I have not. I need a clip. Somebody send me the clip.
No, it's pretty funny, man. And you know what? Before we go, like tonight, at the end of this show, I'll dip back into it because it's really good. I've got it nailed. I've got it nailed. It's so easy. All you have to do is throw in a couple of and everything, and it's perfect. But
not give any information.
Right, but what I'll do is I'll break down who's going to be starting at cornerback, and I'll do it in Kyle Shanahan at the end. At the end of the show, yeah.
That's how we'll wrap up the show. Is what we'll get.
That's how we'll wrap up the show. Yeah, we'll save it.
That's
for
how
that.
we'll wrap up the show.
But no, realistically, with Ambry Thomas, man, Brandon Cooks is no cakewalk. Nico Collins, I think, is a very good player. Davis Mills have been playing very well, but I don't want to hear that. It's the Texans. He had a pretty good game against the Titans. Mm-hmm. And Ambry Thomas is improving week to week. And again, 49ers, you're seeing glimpses. These are going to be the guys that are going to be a part of your franchise going forward, your team going forward, right? And they're being able to contribute in key moments. And I think that's encouraging. That should be very encouraging. So,
yeah, another player we'll talk about as well. He's not a rookie, but his first year at this position. Marcel Harris had an interception yesterday, and that's the play that probably, to me, that play changed the game because the Texans force a fumble. Texans recover. They get a first down on it. Refs called forward progress. Niners keep the ball. I think the next play was the Ayuk pass interference that was 50 yards down the field. And then 3 plays later, the Niners score a touchdown. They go up 10-7. They don't look back. So I wanted to make sure I said Marcel Harris because he had an interception at linebacker. The other linebacker, Fred Warner, he's looking pretty good as of late. So things are maybe trending up. Yeah, I know, right? It's
nice, oh no, Azeez Al-Shaair's out. We're gonna have to rely on our all-pro linebacker.
Oh no, yeah, no,
no.
Listen, man, if things are looking good for the Niners. That Tennessee game was not ideal, obviously. But this is a win they needed. Obviously, the first half started slow. And it's win and you're in. That's all you got to do. George, thank you for the donation. Did you see Kyle smiling after the game? He was praising Trey Lance and seems happy. Those are good signs. They could be good signs. You never know with Kyle Shanahan, but you know what I noticed yesterday, and maybe it's just me not paying attention. Kyle Shanahan did a post-game interview on the field with NBC Sports Bay Area. And I don't know if that was a last game of the season thing. I don't know if he does that every week. I don't know. Something felt different about Kyle Shanahan. He was definitely feeling good. Maybe some of those gray hairs, they went back to brown. I don't know. But he felt like he was feeling good yesterday.
Here's what I want to take away. Let's put on the conspiracy theory hat.
Oh.
Yeah, obviously. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be our guy. If he's going to be completely healthy, but it's going to be a stretch for him to be healthy. I think we saw some good things from Trey Lance. And he'll be ready to go. I think what I took from that was, I think he's preparing himself for Trey to start next week, one way or another. But here's the thing. I really do feel in his heart, he definitely wants Jimmy to start. In his heart, knowing the gravity of this game, he would love to start Jimmy because I think he feels a little bit more comfortable. But I think he's preparing himself to fully put it in Trey's direction. So I think that's what I took away from it. So tinfoil hat, me dissecting things, that was it.
Maybe. Yeah. And I mean, we have 5 days to speculate. Antonio Brown is courtside at Barclays
at the Nets Grizzlies game.
The Nets game.
Still not cut. Still not cut, by the way. Still a part of the Bucks.
Wow.
Still a part of the Bucks.
Wow. Sorry, that is such a wild story happening in Tampa that we don't need to talk about. I just saw on Twitter that he's courtside at the Nets game tonight. That's okay. Anyways, yeah, to me, maybe I am leaning into that a little bit. To me, I just don't know how, as an offensive mind, you see, and obviously, Jason, I know you talked about the one throw that you liked, the 1-to-1 to Sherfield. I don't know how you don't look at that Deebo Samuel throw and say, I haven't seen that in my time here. He probably hasn't seen that type of throw since 2017 with the Falcons. I don't know how he doesn't look at that and say, yeah, this is what we need to run with right now.
I love it. Bootleg. Trey hits the
to the opposite direction. The direction too. He rolled out right.
Yeah, right. And he
threw it back left.
But
when's the last time we've seen that?
He hit his drop and he hit the back foot and he let that thing rip. You have not seen that.
Eric Crocker has a saying for that. I actually yelled it on that throw. What Eric Crocker
that hoe out.
Air that hoe out. We love you, Croc. Frank the Tank, I thought our game was Rams was originally the Sunday night game. Jason probably got a fantasy point. No, it's not scheduled for Sunday night. They don't schedule a Sunday night game for week 18 because they wait. They're going to put it on the Raiders and Chargers, which, by God, please let the Jaguars beat the Colts so they could just tie each other. I need that for Sunday Night Football. Know your personnel. Thank you for the donation. The genius come out of the bag, and now there's no turning back. Trey Lance, the God. Yeah, I mean,
Pandora doesn't go back in the box, buddy. Pandora comes out of the box. That's it.
Pandora. Jason, we're at 35 minutes. Do we want to go 3 stars?
Oh, wow. That quickly? Yeah.
Do you have anything else? I feel like we touched D'Amico Ryans. We haven't said his name yet.
I got stuff I want to talk about.
Let's do it.
Arden Key.
Arden Key and Jordan
How
Willis.
you have 7 pressures on 17 pass rushing snaps, bruh?
And he got hit with another roughing the passer too.
Wow.
It's kind of the Arden Key experience.
Wow. And shout out to East Bay Chris. He's one of my favorite follows. He retweeted that stat and said, I can't wait until the 49ers flip him back to the Raiders for Solomon Thomas. And that shit had me crying laughing. So good, man.
I mean, good. He is the Kerry Hyder of this season, right? The guy on the line you didn't expect. And I mean, some would say we're very big. We're very big Kerry Hyder. I see you, Jason. We're very big Kerry Hyder guys on this podcast, but I think it's safe to say Arden Key is. I think he's been a step better than what Hyder was last year. So, but I think part of that has to do with Hyder had to do it by himself. Key obviously gets the benefit of Nick Bosa fully healthy this year, but it's nice that it finally feels like in a game where Nick Bosa doesn't get a sack, one of his few games without a sack, you still got guys like Armstead and Willis and Key and who's the other one? Ebukam. They all stepped in and performed well. So I'm feeling good about where the Niners are right now, especially hopefully going into the playoffs.
And Jaquaski Tartt's really good at what he does.
Jaquaski Tartt's very good. This is the weekly Jaquaski Tartt's very good segment.
There's a run play where he literally turns back and he runs down on somebody, and it's just like, man, it's like little stuff like that. In the beginning of the game, it wasn't a turnover, but it was a play that ended a drive. Everybody's just like, whatever, it wasn't a turnover. Y'all gonna miss Kwaski when he's gone, man. Y'all gonna miss him when he's gone. Let's take this donation from George real quick. Kyle Shanahan is Thanos, and this guy has all his Infinity Stones. He needed one piece, and that piece was Trey Lance to put the league on notice. Yeah, George, it kind of feels like he felt like he was like, wow, this is what this feels like, And I think he kind of got that moment too as well. Ryan Bowes, thank you for the donation, buddy. Sorry, I'm late. Does K'Wan Williams have a shot to play? He does. The NFL has taken the approach of we're not going to test you. You don't have to test out. And if in 5 days you're not showing any symptoms, you can play. So we'll find out.
What was the guy? So this is the text we got, Jason. Not going to name sources.
Yeah.
The guys that go on the COVID list today through Wednesday can clear at latest by Sunday, as long as their symptoms are improving and they have no fever whatsoever. So that's why we're not going to talk about it. Like, we see a lot of people asking. This is something that has no answer on Monday. This is right. It might even be something that has no answer on Friday. But we'll get there. We'll talk about the COVID guys closer. We'll talk about it Friday.
And this one too, real quick. It doesn't matter anymore if you're vaxxed or not.
No.
The NFL, the CDC put in what they put in for the NFL and other workplaces to just carry on with work. So I don't think that matter. That doesn't matter anymore. That used to matter. That doesn't matter anymore with the new protocols.
Do we need to become a update on the COVID situation podcast? Mav, thank you for the donation. Start Trey. If Lance lives up to the hype, there will be many other playoff opportunities. I'll take one playoff run for the kids' development. But Mav, I get it. I understand what you're saying, but you can have both. You can have both right now. You could literally find out where, I think Trey Lance gives you a better chance to beat the Rams than Jimmy Garoppolo does. At the same time, I think I did not want to buy into the Kyle Shanahan just owns Sean McVay thought until this season. And now I'm like, yeah, he can just roll out Sudfeld on Sunday. Niners are going to be good. We'll be fine. So I understand why everybody is talking about the COVID. That stuff just came out 2 hours ago. But we're not going to touch on that until Friday because a lot can change. People can come off the list. People can go on the list. So we're not going to touch on that at this point. But we appreciate the questions. James says sign Brian Allen. Okay.
Get Brian Allen a ring. Get Brian Allen that ring because he's a 49er legend who deserves the ring. Get him on the roster to get him a ring.
God, just put in such a bad place.
I feel bad for that. Yeah.
3 stars. We ready to go into it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we'll start 3 stars. Before, if you're new, haven't been to the podcast before, Jason Aponte's YouTube channel, it's pretty dope. That's what the kids would say. I don't use dope because I'm an adult, but the kids use it. So subscribe, like, notifications, dislike, send the link to your friend, whatever you need to do. Just subscribe to this wonderful, wonderful YouTube channel because Jason talks a lot of football and we like football. That's why we're here.
My bad that I didn't wear the Sixers jersey though, and
He
I'm
wore it
not,
yesterday.
yeah, but my bad that I'm not, wearing 49ers gear because this hat is a St. Louis Cardinals snapback. So I'm sorry, guys.
The Cardinals.
It's a joke. It's a 49ers snapback, but it's the ridiculousness, the idea of, man, I really can't take you seriously about your 49ers analysis because I'm wearing an Allen Iverson jersey, man.
You remember last year when I wore a Bears hat on the pod and people got mad? That was cool.
That was dope. You should have worn it Bears week. You should have worn it Bears week this year just to troll everybody.
I texted you and said, should I do it? I almost did it for the Jags too because I have a Jaguars hat. 3 stars. Where do I want to start? I'm gonna go honorable mention George Kittle just for the catch. I'm gonna get that one knocked out because that catch was insane. My 3rd star is gonna be Marcel Harris. The interception really turned the game around. He had 10 tackles. Like he stepped in for Aziz, and he did it. He did a pretty decent job. I like to use my 3rd star for players that we don't talk about a ton. Marcel Harris is a guy who wasn't even a starter at the start of the season, and he comes in. He has to step in for Aziz Al-Shaair. He has 10 tackles, 6 solo, and an interception that turned the game around. So I'm going to go Marcel Harris.
My 3rd star is going to be Arden Key, man. 17 pass rushing attempts, 7 pressures. Like you can't buy production like that, especially when you got Arden Key for nothing. Shout out to Chris Kosurik, who continues to be the most unsung hero on this team, continuing to get the most out of defensive linemen that they find off the scrap heap. For every draft pick that you get mad at the 49ers miss on, you cannot get upset when they bring somebody who was, they bet on their trades from another team or an undrafted free agent and get something out of it. Arden Key has been a baller, and if he can get hot, then he becomes somebody who can possibly be a game changer in the way of, pass rush wins games, and that's how you destroy game plans. That's why the New England Patriots didn't finish their 17-0 season. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get too crazy. I'm just saying that pass rushes can disrupt everything, and Arden Key's been balling.
Arden Key, I love him. He's been a very solid pickup. I like that. I like that thought. That's a good one. I wish we thought that deep, but hey, I like it. We're going to run with that. I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell, 2nd star. And I mean, as I said, man, there's something about 21 carries, 119, a 6-yard per carry average. And it just was kind of quietly there. Like he didn't have any of the huge runs that were used. I mean, he had a 37-yard run. That's a big run. But even then, you take that away. That's 20 carries for 90 yards. That's still a very good game. And then he had the touchdown as well. So I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell 2nd. Yeah,
I'm going to echo that sentiment. The kid's been an unbelievable find. Where would this team be without him at this point? Unfortunately, Trey Sermon just, for many reasons, hasn't been the guy that they thought he would be. But Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round is probably the picture of why you don't draft running backs very early, unless his name is Javonte Williams. But I just believe that Elijah Mitchell has been such a baller, and injuries are the only thing that really could slow him down. And we kind of predicted that this was going to be a 40-run game. They got to 37. That's just the formula, how the 49ers want to win with whatever quarterback, which is why you don't have to play mind games with the Texans. But Elijah Mitchell's been incredible, man. It's been a sensational season to watch.
Paul Madison, I hope you're still here. But Jason Aponte, I'm guessing, maybe count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Trey Lance.
I was going to say Deebo Samuel.
Oh, you were going to say Deebo Samuel. I'm going to go Trey Lance. I'm going to be that guy.
Okay.
I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to give it to Trey Lance. First half wasn't great. The first half was not great. That's okay. The key to me is he stepped up in the second half. I can't get that throw out of my head, man. That one to Deebo. Just how smooth it was. It was on a line. Like, to me, the comparison, and I know it's a different kind of play, all that stuff. But you remember in Cincinnati, Garoppolo, and I hate to do the Garoppolo Lance thing. Garoppolo had the deep pass to Travis Benjamin that kind of floated. It was incomplete. It's one of those throws where if he gets it on a line, like maybe it's complete. He just like you could have hung clothes on that line. Like that's all I can say, man. Is that such a tight line for that throw? He stepped up in the second half. He really outdid himself. He showed out. So yeah, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. Or well, the Flavor Aid. It's the Flavor Aid, guys. It's not Kool-Aid. It's the Flavor Aid. And I'll put Trey Lance on my number one. Why not? It's my podcast.
Yeah,
I can do whatever I want.
It sure is. And I figured that you would. That's why I wanted it to Debo Samuel. My honorable mention would be Brandon Ayuk, and you are starting to see it with him and Trey Lance, and that almost touchdown in the end zone is where it's at. But Brandon Ayuk was sensational in this game. But it's Debo Samuel, man. Different quarterback, different role, doesn't matter. Just the man's a dog. And I'm having a joy watching him play football. And he's been incredible this year. I think the obvious answer is Trey Lance, and one of us was going to say it, but I think we all understood that. But I just want to make sure that we give love to Debo Samuel because he's incredible.
MVP candidate.
Oh yeah,
he's an MVP candidate.
MV Debo.
Hey, how about this? Let's just make the rule: whoever wins this game on Sunday between the Rams and Niners, they get the MVP nod between Cooper Kupp and Debo Samuel. Because, like, listen,
or offensive player of the year.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to knock down what Cooper Kupp has done because Cooper Kupp's been phenomenal this year.
Cooper Kupp has a chance to break every record this week.
Yes. And people are going to ask her because it's an 18-game season, but he's been insane all year. Whatever. But what Debo Samuel does for this Niners offense, just how much his hand is on the ball, even in the run games. I think. That's why I think, because if we're taking the word MVP as literal, the most valuable player, obviously Cooper Kupp is having a phenomenal year, but he's not getting touches in the run game. He's not getting touches like Debo Samuel is. And in terms of valuable, I think Debo is more valuable to the Niners than what Cooper Kupp is to the Rams. I think Cooper Kupp's having a phenomenal year, but if you put any other top tier receiver where Cooper Kupp is right now, he's having a phenomenal season. I think Debo only has the skill set for what he's being asked for, and so that's why what's it called? I would give the nod to Debo over Cooper Kupp. That's all.
Yeah, and that's a fair argument, as well. I mean, Jamar Chase is like trying to just destroy everybody's plans and just throw himself into this as well. And Jonathan Taylor obviously has a nod because he scores a touchdown every single week. He's the best running back in the world right now. But when you define most valuable, where would this team be without Debo Samuel? And I'll say it every single week. This team wouldn't even be in this last position to win this game without Debo Samuel because he won the Bears game by himself. He is the reason that team had a chance to do anything.
And yeah, and we're not saying he's going to win the MVP. We just want Jason Aponte. We will take a victory lap if he gets one vote first. One first place vote. One first place vote. Maybe that'll be our first shirt. Maybe it'll be a Debo Samuel one MVP vote.
We got it.
There we go. We're working on it. Do we have any other last second Niner stuff to talk about before we get out of here?
No, just my Kyle Shanahan impression about who's going to be playing cornerback next week.
Yeah, I'll let you get to that as we're wrapping up because Paul, Jason, I'm going to talk about soccer for a second. Wolves beat Man United today, and it was electric. 1-0. Zal Moutinho got the goal. Fernandez had a free kick from just outside the box. Jose Sa is a madman. Jason Aponte, can I get your Kyle Shanahan impression before we get out of here? Hey, Kyle, quick question. Embry Thomas, he's been playing well. Josh Norman struggling. You went to Dante Johnson. You have Emmanuel Mosley coming back from injury. Who do you think should be the two guys you're rolling out there week 17 against the Los Angeles Rams of St. Louis?
I mean, I got to say that, obviously we have a lot of confidence in any of those guys that are out there. But, I mean, with the way that Embry's come along, I think that, Emmanuel is a vital part of what we want to do. I mean, I think that when you bring Mosley along, obviously Norman wasn't out there at the end of the game there with Dante Johnson. But I believe that, but going forward, it would be hard for me not to envision Ambry Thomas with Emmanuel Mosley out there. I honestly, we're in kind of a good spot in the defensive room because we feel really good about all those guys.
I think it's the lack of eye contact for me.
Yeah.
I think that's what does it. Yeah, that's what does it.
You have to look down.
I love that.
You can't look at the camera. You can't do any of that. Oh, all right, Jesse. You can ask Kyle one question and we'll get out of here.
Jesse's got to ask. Hines said Adamas still scoreless this season. Yeah, but he played for a team who scored more goals than Man U today. So he also had a very good centering pass off of that. Jason, don't forget breathing. Edward, how you doing? Pumped for the Rams game. Dude, this is going to be a fun game. And Jason, I promise before Jesse's question comes in and then we'll get out of here, I will have a very convenient chart in front of me for all the tiebreaker possibilities.
Oh, I love it.
Because there's a lot because the Niners don't need to win. I think I saw a chart that had like 24 possible outcomes. And only two of them had no 49ers. So the Niners are in a good spot. I actually think if the Rams and Niners tie, no matter what happens, they just sit in their position. So maybe collusion. Maybe collusion and you just tie with the Rams. I mean, McVay and Shanahan are good friends.
Did
I think Jason froze.
Legend, Killer Witherspoon? No, I'm good. You're frozen. Did a Killer Witherspoon just get? Oh, here we go. All right, I got you, Jesse. You have to ask it.
I don't know who froze. Oh wait.
You have to ask. You have to ask what. You have to answer Jesse's. Like, send it to me. Like, ask it to me. You're frozen. Okay. Kyle, is it true that you and Grant Cohn are best friends? I mean, the guy goes out there and he kind of has his own agenda at this point, and I'm frozen. A lot of the guys in the room, we can only control what we can control at this point. And, I hear he's got a successful podcast and, that's fine. But I think a lot of the guys in that room, the 53 that we've got in there, they're focused on one goal. I think that's where we're at right now at this point. So, I nothing against Grant Cohn, anything like that. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. He's a fine guy.
I like that. That's what I just walked in on. And I love that happened. I'm glad I came back just in time for Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners and enjoy the week, man. We're going to argue a ton this entire week. Please just enjoy this win for like 1 or 2 days, please, guys. Yeah,
man. Hey, listen, this is going to be a long week. The Niners need a win. If they win, it makes it a lot easier. But hey, would have thought after a 4-game losing streak, the first 6 weeks, we would even be here. So there you go. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.